Hello crafty friends, this is card number 41 in Full Deck Challenge 2. The prompts are scribbles, circles, words. For today's card, I'm going to be using my Happy Scraps ArtStacks kit. This is some tissue paper with my scribbles, and then I'm going to be using a piece of my Happy Scraps background paper. My kit does include some Happy Scraps circles along with the hearts, but I'm not going to use these today. I'm going to create my own. This ready-to-use kit is available from ArtStacks. I will put the link in the description box below. These are just 3 of the sheets that you get in the kit. There are an additional 2. To start, I'm going to add a piece of the scribbled tissue paper to the face of my card. I'm going to cut a piece just slightly bigger than my card, and then I'm going to attach it with some Mod Podge. You could also use a craft glue. A glue stick would work too, but I don't think it will hold long term. Once I apply my tissue paper, I'm going to apply a layer of Mod Podge over the tissue paper too. This is so that it doesn't tear if I add any kind of wet medium like paint or gesso over the top. I'm then going to dry it well, and I'm going to trim off the excess tissue. You can either use a scissors to cut it, or you can just tear it off like I am if you like more of a rustic look. I want the scribbles to be in my background. They're too bold at the moment and will just make any kind of focal point drown. So I'm going to add a layer of gesso over some parts of it. I'm just using my finger to apply. Thicker in some areas, thinner in others, a little bit uneven. This will just soften the entire background and push everything into the back. You can still see the scribbles, but they're not in your face. And then I'm going to dry the gesso well. I'm now going to use the Happy Scraps background to create my circles. You could punch them out with a punch if you have. I'm going to do mine freehand. I want them quite uneven and different sizes. So I'm just drawing on the back, just some very rough hand-drawn circles, and then I'm going to fussy cut those out. Again, I don't want them perfect circles. I want them a little bit wonky. I've cut more than I need because I'm not quite sure yet what kind of pattern I'm going to make with them. This card I'm sort of doing a little bit intuitively. I also want some plain colors to balance out the busyness of the Happy Scraps. I found a few pieces of cardstock that have colors that match some of the colors in my circles. So I'm going to cut some different size circles out of that too. I'll start off by drawing on the back so that I can cut them out. Different sizes, and again very rough. And as I start cutting this, I realize I have a better idea. I'm going to draw the circle on the front side, on the actual colored part, using a black fine liner pen. And similar to my little doodle hearts that I've made in previous videos, I'm going to make like doodle circles. I'm going to make multiple lines, very rough, and I'm going to cut that out so you can actually see the doodle lines. I think that adds to the interest of the piece. And I'm also going to do some circles on a book page. That's going to be the words part of my prompt. Now that all my pieces are cut out, I'm going to start placing them onto my card. As soon as I place the first one, I realize that one is not going to work. The colors are too similar to the background. I'm going to use the brighter colored ones. They are still getting a little bit lost in that busy background, so I'm going to add a piece of white cheesecloth just underneath the center where my circles are going to go to help those circles pop off the page. And then I'm going to start placing them randomly until I get a pattern that I like. They remind me a little bit of balloons, which is not exactly what I was going for, so I'll just keep working at the pattern. And then I thought to add a bit more texture and a bit more color. So I've got some bright pink thread, just the regular thread you'd use on your sewing machine, that I'm going to cut a piece and scrumple up and put underneath some of the circles. I'm going to do it at the top and the bottom sections. And then I thought I had a great idea. I wanted to flip this entire thing over so that I know where the placement is when I start to stick. So I place a piece of paper over the entire card with all the circles, and then I flip it over. Of course, then it didn't work. Everything got hooked on the threads and it all was just a disaster. That's okay, we'll start again. I'll put down my cheesecloth, I'll put down my 2 big bunches of pink thread, and then I'm going to start placing again. And actually this was a blessing in disguise, because when I start gluing these down, the end pattern I am much happier with than the balloon looking layout that I first did. I'm using a clear craft glue to stick down my circles. I don't need any additional glue for the cheesecloth or the thread. When I place the glue on my circle and press it down, that'll stick the thread and the cheesecloth down onto the surface. It's never too late to join in the Full Deck Challenge. You can join at any time and start on any card. This is Full Deck Challenge 2. I will put both playlists for both challenges in the description box below. If you're on Facebook, do join my group. Just search Full Deck Challenge Group. That looks so much better than the first layout. I'm now going to use my hole punch and punch some little circles from one of the other pieces. I like the bright pinks. And then I'm going to stick these tiny circles just here and there, just to add some contrast and additional color. So we have fulfilled all the prompts. We have scribbles, we have circles, and we have words. Once I finish sticking down my tiny little circles, I'm going to add one more word, just to add to the focal point. It's a ready-made die-cut word with the word hello in gold foil. I really like the little pop of metallic, and I think it will suit the card really well. Once I've stuck it down, I'm going to use my black fine liner pen just to very lightly go along the edges of the word, just to help it to stand out a little bit more. Not too dark, very, very lightly. A very thin line. I really hope you enjoyed this card and were inspired to create your own with scribbles, words, and circles. Just a reminder that my ready-to-use Happy Scraps kit is available from ArtStacks. The link will be below. Thank you so much for taking the time to watch. Don't forget to subscribe and then hit the little bell so you're notified every time I upload new content. Happy creating, and I'll see you again soon. Bye.